take one step back to go two steps forward. I got the internship. Why? Because I needed the experience. Folks, a lot of times we can have the degree, but we don't have the experience. You need both. People didn't tell me that when I was growing up. So this is what I share to others in my life story. Look, you need to have that experience.
Welcome to another edition of Be Great Podcast, where we're always speaking to phenomenal people about their journey. And today is like none other. That we have a great gentleman who's a phenomenal speaker, does a lot of great things. So today we have the privilege of speaking to Michael Dillard. How you doing, Michael?
I am doing awesome, man. Awesome, Stephen, to be on your podcast. I am excited for the audience.
Yes, yes. If you wouldn't mind, just take a quick moment and just introduce yourself. Let people know a little bit about Michael Dillard.
Oh, wow. That's a deep one there. I'm like, how far do I go back? Who is Michael Dillard? Well, I call myself a motivational financial speaker. That's right. Motivating everyday people to build generational wealth so that they can leave a financial legacy. I got 5 principles that I teach. But to go back in time, who is Michael Dillard? Michael Dillard grew up on food stamps, folks. I grew up trying to just make it broke, but still living. Thanks to programs like Upward Bound, I had a vision to keep going in life. Joined the Army after I finished high school because guess what, folks? I went to college after high school. Then I started making money, making too much money in the factory that I stopped going to classes. I was tired. Yes, I'm gonna be transparent. Then I got my money from the GI Bill to help pay for my college studies so that I could focus, Stephen, so I can focus on the dream of getting that education. I got my 4-year degree from Middle Tennessee State University. Thanks once again to Upward Bound, based at Austin Peay State University in Clarksville, Tennessee. Went through a couple obstacles over time. I ended up, helping people to overcome obstacles in life, have a nice career traveling the world, which I guess we'll touch on a little bit later on. So that's Michael Dillard in a 30-second wrap up.
There you go. There you go. Man, I kind of want to unpack a little bit about your story, your journey, because that's going to be so helpful to those people who may find themselves in a space where, man, where do I go from here? Not life is not fair. We all know that, right? But if you can, let's kind of talk about, you said early on, you kind of had some struggles. You didn't come from silver spoon. And so let's kind of
No.
share a little bit about how was that you found yourself fighting back to get from, I guess, the challenges that you faced on day to day, and then to overcome that to now where you find yourself going on to school and furthering your education. How did you fight through those times, I guess, of poverty, and a little bit about that, if you wouldn't mind explaining that a little bit.
Definitely, definitely. So as I go back in time, they say hindsight is 2020. I realized something. I had a formula that I used in order to overcome obstacles. It was vision plus action equals success. That's right. Vision plus action equals success. When I look back when, I was a, broke but still living high school student, I had no vision. The only thing people said is, Michael, achieve more than what we achieved. At the time, see, what people don't know is that my mom and dad love at first sight at age 15 and 16. Talking about having a head start, right? That was not a head start. So for them, the goal was to get a high school diploma, and that was the vision, that was the dream. But Outward Bound exposed me. They had me on campus on the weekends, being in a college atmosphere at Austin Peay State University, going to those classes during the summer for tutoring to make sure I was able to pass high school. They were like, the standard is not the diploma. No, the standard is the degree. What I realized is that at that point in time, when I go back in my life and say, how come I was able to achieve a lot? Is because Upward Bound gave me the vision that if they can do it, you can do it. That, you know what? Don't settle for less. Don't settle for less. Have high goals. My goal was always to continue to strive for more and more, no matter what position I had, no matter what I was doing. Mark my work with excellence, but continue to climb, continue to stretch your goals. When you go from step one, you get to step two. Don't settle. Go from step two to go to step three. I'm always curious what's in the other room. I want to know what's in the other room. So that's what I would say. In life, vision plus action equals success. That's the motto that I live by.
Wow. Well, I like to help others who may be watching. Did you have any obstacles that you had to overcome, like along that journey? And I know money might have been funny. How did you overcome those situations to stay on track to get to where you are now?
Ooh, that's a deep one there. Obstacles. When I was unemployed, right? Making 60K, married, life is going good. My wife is about to have our second child, got the house, picket fence, the whole 9 yards, except for the dog. Okay, except for the dog. So life is good, making good money. Stephen, it was so good that I was taking my daughter to daycare. It was a summer, like it was like June, about 85 degrees out, summer. My taking my daughter to daycare. She's like, "Daddy, can you buy me some ice cream when you come and pick me up?" I said, "Of course I can." I drop her off, man. Life is good. It's a Friday. Just got paid. So I'm feeling good. Pull up in the parking lot, business as usual. After lunch, my supervisor said, "Michael, let me talk to you." Tap on the shoulder. We got to let you go. What? This is 2008. I don't know if people know what happened in 2008 and 9, folks. The recession was real. But guess what? I call it the personal development bug. The personal development bug had bit me in the ear. I had a conversation with myself back around what 2007, and it was like, Michael, it's time for you to go back and get another master's degree. Another master's degree, Stephen. See, I already had an MBA in personal finance, but it was time for me to go back and get a master's in accounting. I questioned why. The little voice said, "Do you still play tapes, cassettes? Do you still play those tape cassettes and listen to music?" I said, "No, no, 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 no. I'm high tech, you know. I got the MP3 player popping." "Okay, what about DVDs? Do you use DVDs or do you use VHS tapes to watch movies on the weekends?" I said, "DVDs." Said, "Okay, so tapes became extinct. Beta tapes became extinct. What about those computers? You still think people are going to spend $1,000 on those computers?" I said, "You got a point. Personal development bug, you got a point." So I went back and got my master's in accounting. And as soon as I got that master's, that's when the supervisor tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Michael, we got to let you go." So to finish the story, now I'm going to go pick my daughter up. I'm sad, right? I'm like, what am I going to do? Pick her up. She's all excited. "Daddy, daddy, let's go get ice cream." Yes, let's go get ice cream. Before that, I told the receptionist, "I'm sorry, I have to disenroll my daughter. I can't afford it. Can't afford it. I just got laid off." Pick my daughter up. We get the ice cream. We go home. Start applying for jobs. No jobs are opening. Apply, deny, can't get a job. Cannot get a job because I'm overqualified, folks. I'm overqualified. Can, can you believe that? Then eventually, after being unemployed for months, my wife, remember, she's pregnant, right? About to have our second child. I get an opportunity to go interview to be an assistant store manager in the mall. My wife was like, "Nah, you don't need to take that job." I'm like, "We need money." I said, "I'm going to go." You see, Stephen, what had happened is that the fact that I had an MBA in personal finance, I did the right thing. I invested in my 401k. I took advantage of the free money they was giving me to when I put money in, they would match it. So we were able to live off that money just for a little while, right? Just for a little while, but it wasn't going to last forever. My money was becoming a little funny. So I'm like, "Honey, I got to go do this interview." So guess what? She rides to the mall with me to do the interview. So she walking around pregnant, right? Walking around pregnant saying, "No, no, you don't need the job." She praying against me getting the job. I go in there. I ace the interview. They're like, "We'll be in touch." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm happy." Next morning, open up my email, and then I get an email that says that we want you to come to Washington, D.C. to interview for this financial management job. Remember, I told you I applied for a lot of jobs, so I was like trying to get it. And then when I kept reading through, it said, "We want you to pass a top secret security clearance background check." I said, "What kind of job is this?" Then it said, "We want you to pass a medical background check for you and the family as well." I said, "What?" let me go and do a little bit more research. Go online, usa.gov. You are a financial management officer. You have to pass all these background requirements because you will travel the world with a U.S. diplomatic passport. Stephen, I accidentally applied to become a U.S. diplomat. Can you believe that? So that's why my wife was praying. She said something great is in store. God has something
Mm.
for you, Michael. So yes, I've faced obstacles in life, but you got to believe, right? You got to believe that God is looking out for you. Put in the
Mm.
work. Remember, I went back and I did get the master's in accounting, and it prepared me for the next level in my journey in life.
Wow, that's good, man. That's really good. I just think about if you stay ready, you don't have to worry about getting ready. And so
Ooh,
what you did was you prepared yourself for what was unseen at the time because you didn't even know that job even existed pretty much. And you wasn't really seeking for that particular promotion, but you just got prepared in practice. Yes, practice. I know that was what's my guy? AI. Yeah, you had
mm-hmm.
practice. And so you
Practice. We
definitely
talking about practice? Practice.
yeah, practice. So you got prepared in that practice time. It wasn't wasted time. It was preparation time to take
It
you
was
to that next place. So
preparation
now that you
time.
find yourself in that space of being a diplomat, right? What does that look like?
Well, that is a unique career field that I myself didn't know anything about. Been great for the family, working in international development. And when I look back at my other experience, when I worked at Dell Computers, right? When I was doing sales, when I was doing financing for businesses, when I worked in customer service, when all these different experiences from the time I worked in the Army, because when I worked in the Army, I was stationed in Camp Casey in South Korea. So all those experiences came together as one. Working, in the as a U.S. diplomat traveling the world, I've been able to impact a lot of people. My family has been able to have a journey like no other. My children have been able to go and learn foreign languages. They've been able to embrace other cultures, and they've been able to see the world around them. They're not like, oh, you know what? Everyone has to do the same thing all the time. No, they understand that everybody is uniquely gifted and everyone is different, and that there is greatness throughout the world. And most important, family. Since we always are traveling every 2 to 3 years, like the military, that your home is where your family is.
Mm, that's good, man. I got several ways I want to take this, but the first way I want to really dig in this: how does your employment? I know you can't go on the details, but does it impact the lives of others? What is it you do that really makes a difference?
Wow. Okay. You can. There's a lot to go in there. In the book I wrote, Accidental Success, I do go into some of the details of my career. With the Army, with USAID. Currently working as a U.S. diplomat, as a financial controller, what I do is I'm responsible for managing the US taxpayers' money when the US government is looking to help other countries that are in need. For example, if I'm in X country, they have a health program and they want to partner with a local organization. My team, we work together to go and assess their financial records to make sure that they can manage the US taxpayers' money. We want to make sure that there's no fraud, waste, or abuse in the money. After the award is issued, then we go and we verify that the money has been spent to make sure that those people who are looking to get the malaria pills or help, the different vaccines, we want to make sure that people are receiving the aid that they need to survive. And then in the long term, what happens is that those people who are able to get assistance are able to become future citizens that help impact the world in which we live. There's some people doing great work in these different countries who are also sharing their best practices with others around the world. Take a look at COVID. When COVID hit, people were trying to figure out what's happening, what should we do, what's the remedy for it. They went and they started working with different governments and different populations in order to help save hundreds of lives around the world. So the work that I do is on the financial side to mitigate risks, to make sure that people are able to overcome poverty.
That's good. That's good, man. And I know you mentioned a little bit about that you actually have a book and you're an author and things of that nature. So, if you wouldn't mind, kind of give us a little bit how that come about that you took from what you're doing for as employment and moved into the realm of doing other things such as being an author. And if you wouldn't mind explaining a little bit about some of the other things you do.
Yes. So imagine, remember I said I grew up, on food stamps. Grew up on food stamps. I joined the army. All of a sudden, I'm traveling the world. People are like, Michael, what just happened? Right? My neighbors are like, why is the FBI knocking on my door? Like, what's going on? As a result of people wanting to know what happened, they want to know more about me. They want to know how they can overcome obstacles in life. I decided to write the book so that I can share my wealth of knowledge and experiences with others around the world. So I wrote Accidental Success. Now, people say success is not accidental, but remember, when I was 15, 16 years old, I was starving, right? I was broke, but still living. I didn't know that my life would turn into what it is today. So for me, it was accidental.
Mm.
So I wrote the
Awesome.
book to share, hey, you can achieve greatness as long as you have a vision. Have a vision, take action, success will follow. For me, education was the key that unlocked doors that was once closed when I was young. Remember, I was on food stamps, but what changed was when I got the first bachelor's degree. I was able to make more money. Then I got my master's in MBA in personal finance. Then I got my master's in county. And as you can see, more doors continue to open. But it wasn't easy, folks. It wasn't easy. When I graduated from college, I couldn't find a job. I was still working at the call center. I had to get an internship that paid less money than what I was making. I call that take one step back to go two steps forward. I got the internship. Why? Because I needed the experience. Folks, a lot of times we can have the degree, but we don't have the experience. You need both. People didn't tell me that when I was growing up. So this is what I share to others in my life story. Look, you need
Mm.
to have that experience.
Awesome.
Then the
Awesome.
reason why I wrote the second book, Build Generational Wealth, Retire Early, is that I realized that there's a lot of misinformation when it comes to having a financial abundance and when it comes to having financial legacy. And so I like to share basic financial principles that everybody can implement in order to leave a financial legacy for their loved ones.
Man, that is awesome. So actually, so what you did for doing for a profession, you actually turned it to where now you're able to impact and share that with others. And so, what does that look like when you are sharing it? Because I know that you do it in your book, but do you go out there and you share with other groups of people? How do you go about sharing that message?
Yes. So when my work with USAID is totally separate. So in my personal life, when I'm helping others, I'm doing it in my personal capacity. What I do is I go and I talk to college students, prior upward bound programs. I'll go speak, talking about how to overcome obstacles, how to be better leaders, how to have financial literacy in order for you to be able to manage your money. I often speak when I'm invited to colleges and universities, and I do a lot of one on one coaching with young people and with older adults as well when it comes to coming with having a plan. A lot of times people don't have a plan for their money, for their finances. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing. And then from a professional aspect, I share best practices on how people can be a better leader. One thing that often hurts people is that people don't quit employers, they quit people. Let me repeat, people don't quit employers, they quit people. If you want to be valuable in the workplace, you have to learn how to be able to lead and motivate your staff. So those are things that I share with a passion, is to help people to become better every day, professionally and financially.
Mm. That's good. That's good. Now, when you're teaching and showing people, do you have a curriculum? Do you have your books material? How do you leave them that they just don't get like a good message, but now they can actually implement that information that you're sharing with them?
A great question. What I do is people will book a one-on-one call with me and I work with people individually. The reason why is that everyone's career or their personal finances is different, right? Personal finance is personal to the individual. I do have a 5-step program when it comes to personal finance, which you can find the checklist on my website. Number one is you have to get the 30-year term life insurance. Why? Because if you get life insurance when you're 20, it's going to be way cheaper than when you're 60. Huh? Think about it. If you get it when you're 20, it's going to be way cheaper than when you're 60. The reason why you have to get life insurance now is that most people are saying, Michael, why do I need to get life insurance? Today, my employer has me covered. Okay, no problem. Let's do some quick math. You're making $60,000. Life is good. You get married. Your spouse is making $60,000. You buy the $300,000 house. You got the kids. You got the house. Something happens to one of you. Is that $60,000 life insurance from your employer going to last until your kids are age 15 or 20? That 60,000 is not going to last. It's not. So this is why I say buy your life insurance like you buy your car insurance. Have your own separate policy. Get it while it's affordable when you're young. For like $50, you can probably get like a $500,000 term life insurance. And if you want $1,000,000, you're looking at about $100 a month. For most people, when you're young, of course, if you're a little older, it's going to cost a little bit more. But the best thing to do is get it while you can early. Number two, you got to get the free money. What's the free money? Most employers will offer you some type of match if you put money in your 401k. You put in $500, they put in $500. That's 100% return on your money. And we haven't even talked about compounding interest. Einstein said compounding interest is one of the 8th wonders of the world, folks. Why? He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Now let's change it out for money. He who understands money earns money. He who doesn't pays money. Why? Because compounding interest will compound and make money while you sleep. Number three, pay off your high interest debt. Those 24% credit cards will take you about 20, 25 years to pay off when you make the minimum payment, and you'll be paying almost double the original purchase price. Then everybody likes a discount. Whether you're going to your favorite restaurant or you're going shopping, 10, 20% off coupon. Well, guess what? The federal government says if you put money in an individual retirement account, you will get a tax discount. That can be 10%, it might be 15%, depending on your tax bracket. So that's why I say step 4, open up an individual retirement account. It could be a Roth account or a traditional account. Then number 5, this is the most important one, a child retirement account, aka child savings account. What you want to do is when the child turns 1, put $200 in there. When they're 3, put another couple $100. Tell grandma, tell granddad, put some money in that account for baby. Now, when your child is age 18, you want to have $5,000 in the account. Here's why. From age 18, the $5,000 is going to grow to be about $320,000, folks, when they turn 66 because of compounding interest. Because of time, I can't go through everything, but you can check out my social media to learn more about it, or shoot me a DM and I explained it. But because of compounding interest, the $5,000 will grow to be $320,000 on average when your child is 66. Tell me, is that a nice inheritance, Stephen? That's a nice inheritance, right?
Oh yeah.
So I go through those fundamentals one-on-one, as you can see, because people are going to start asking questions. Hey, Michael, which investment do I choose? My 401k account, I see all these different investment options, target date fund, bond, etc. So I go and I help them choose the different plan and the options, provide education.
Awesome.
And then when it comes to coaching, every situation is different. So I share my years of leadership experience with them.
Okay. Man, that is great, man. So, so having the financial wherewithal is one piece, and you say investing back into insurance is one vehicle. Do you have other vehicles that people should be considering when they are looking to invest and be financially aware? What was that? What else would you say?
So I only stick to the five principles because it's the blueprint, right?
Okay,
My
okay,
plan is you got to get the life insurance
okay,
because if something happens to you, how are your loved ones going to survive? We don't
okay,
want you having to have a GoFundMe account. We want your loved ones to be able to take care of the children, the house, the car, etc. Right? For $50 a month, you get your nice term insurance or giving you about 500,000. Number two, get the 401k match. Number three, pay off high interest debt. Number four, put money in the IRA. And number five, open up a child savings account. Of course, along the way, you probably want to buy a house, but those are the five principles that
okay,
I teach because they're easy to implement, they're easy
okay.
to understand. They've been around for years upon years upon years. Unlike some investments, people created them 5 years ago. There's no track record. You
Awesome.
don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now. So I focus
Mhm.
on what's been proven, what's been around for years.
Awesome, man. That sounds really good. And so, also another piece you say you spoke on and you speak on is leadership. So that is so important as well, man. I'm big on leadership. I'm listening to a lot of John Maxwell, Miles Monroe, you name it. Leadership is so key. And so, just taking from what you speak of, if you could tell just something brief about this, how impactful and this important leadership is, what would that be?
That would be the LEAD framework. If you go to my website, you can download that. LEAD stands for listen, empower, adapt, and develop.
Mm,
Imagine you go to work every day, your supervisor walks past you. They don't speak to you unless they have a problem. How does that make you feel?
mm,
You don't feel listened to, right? But imagine your supervisor comes by, it's a Monday, and they say, "Oh, how about the New York Yankees? Man, that was a great game. Did you see it? Yeah, I saw it. That was a great game." Oh, 10 minutes later, "Oh, I have a question about this Excel spreadsheet. You have a minute?" You feel value, you feel listened to, right? Then E stands for empower, right? You got to empower your team to be able to make decisions when you're not around. That's a skill in itself. Sometimes you have employees that are highly motivated and they have a lot of knowledge. You want to empower those people to make decisions. Otherwise, they will become disgruntled in the workplace. Then A, adapt to change. The phone, right? Get the iPhone. We're not using iPhone 1 or 2 anymore. Why? Because Apple stopped making it. Why? Because you said you wanted a phone that can take more pictures. You said you wanted a phone that can have more storage. Look, you got three cameras on here, not one. You did one camera was not good enough. You needed three. You changed. So guess what? If Apple changed, they realize you changed as a supervisor, you have to change and adapt your leadership style. Last one, D, develop others. You have to be able to develop the future generation.
mm. Awesome, man. Awesome. That sounds good. So, if anybody want to get more information from you to be able to get some of these tools, how could they reach out to you?
www.madillard.com. www.madillard.com. You will have access to the free checklist. You'll have access to my electronic press kit. If you want to book me, you want me to come out and speak to motivate your team or your students, you can download my electronic press kit. If you're like, Michael, I want to learn more about compounding interest, you can go there as well and you can watch one of my YouTube videos where I teach you how to build generational wealth in 5 easy steps. And you're like, what? Michael, I really need to talk to you. I have this financial problem. At the top, just click book a call and I will help you with your financial problems, issues that you're dealing with. My goal is to help 100 families within the next 12 months to leave and build a financial legacy.
Man, That's amazing, man. That's amazing. What would be something that you may sometimes tell yourself to kind of keep you in the game when life is sometime being life? What would that be to encourage the people?
Several. Vision plus action equals success. The other one is if they can do it, you can do it, believe it, and you can achieve it. And then don't take it serious. Become 1% better every day. You see, if you do something for yourself today, I challenge your audience. Think of one thing that you can do that can help you become a better person today. So that tomorrow, when you take one step out of the bed, you'll be 1% better.
Man, we appreciate all these nuggets and all this truth you dropped on this mic. Man, we thank you again for this taking the time just to hang out with us. But we also want to inspire and empower individuals. Continue making this life be great by doing your best today. Thank you again. Everybody have a phenomenal day. Do like, do subscribe. Until the next time, be great.